Hey everyone, this is our first lesson, and the objective is the real number system. So a couple definitions to get us started off. Decimals. They're based on tens. Examples 1.9, that's 1 and 9 tenths. So you've seen these a lot. You see these with money. You see these anytime someone's talking about pieces of things and not a whole, they have decimals. You've seen them throughout your whole math career, I'm sure. Now, the next one is fraction. A fraction is a numerical quantity that is not a whole number. An example is a half, 3/4, 9/8. What do you see these? You see these when you're cooking. You see these with pizzas and different things like that. Next definition, rational numbers. They are numbers that can be expressed as a fraction. Now, there are different kinds of rational numbers. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So, numbers can be rational, but they can also be other things. But some of those numbers might be one of the rational numbers and not all of the types of rational numbers. So, let's look at the types. Number one, fraction. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Number one, natural numbers. Natural numbers, they are counting numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This does not include 0. Now the next one is whole numbers, and they are natural numbers including 0. So these are counting numbers that use 0 in them. I mean, well, like 0, and then the counting ones like 1, 2, 3, 4. So just include 0. And then integers, and integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So whole numbers, that includes 0, and then their opposites. So 1, -1, 2, -2, 3, -3. And then the next one is irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction. So some examples are non-repeating numbers and non-terminating decimals. So, for example, pi. Everyone thinks pi is 3.14, right? No, it keeps going and going, and it never terminates. So this is an irrational number. You can't express this as a fraction. Okay, let's look at some definitions. Some examples. We already looked at definitions. So we're going to classify some real numbers. It says, name the set or sets of numbers to which each number belongs. So like I said, it could be more than just one set of numbers. It can be a whole number, but a whole number is also a what number? A natural number. So that's two types of sets that it's with. So let's look at the first one. It's -17/31 or -17/31. It's a fraction. So it's a fraction, therefore it's what? Rational, because rational numbers can be expressed as fractions, but that's also, in the whole scheme of things, a real number. Number 2, 23. Now that's a whole number. It's also a natural number. What else? It's also an integer. And all of these fall under what? Rational numbers. And then all of these fall under real. Okay, so we have that example. Next one, 0. 0 is a what? Is it a natural number? No, natural numbers don't include 0. This is a whole number. It's also an integer. My marker doesn't run out. And all of these fall under what kind of numbers? Rational and then reals. Try to shake it. The next one we have is the square root of 2, which equals 1.4421 something. It keeps going. So that is what? Irrational. And that falls under real numbers. Then we have 3.14. I sort of already talked about that with you earlier. So 3.14 is terminating, so it's a rational number and a real number. The next one we have is the square root of 36. Now what times itself will give you 36? That's 6. So the square root of 36 is 6. 6 is a natural number, a whole number, an integer. All of those fall under rational, and all of those fall under real. So there are some examples.